All right, good people. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's morning time. It's the night after the Knicks shook up the world. All right, so the the party, the celebration commences, and the Knicks are going to the conference finals. The Knicks are going to the conference finals. Now, apologies. The last couple few days, your boy's been under the weather, so I hadn't really previewed Game 6. I reacted. I believe I reacted to Game 5. Whatever. Maybe I didn't. I can't even remember, bro. My boy been battling the flu, but I have been on streams. I have been on the Casino stream, and if anybody follows 93Z, subscribe to 93Z. I was on his live stream, the Denver game, and then the Knicks games. So yeah, I'm still, still kind of still getting the last of this little flu out my system. But I'll be remiss not to speak on the Knicks beat down of the Celtics last night. Now, again, I'm going to start off by saluting the Celtics. I have a lot of respect for the Celtics. I had a lot of respect for them as, the contenders and the way they came up. I saw them come up for the 2022 season when they started putting stranglehold defensively. At that time, the team was a defensive team. They improved it. They went out. They improved their 3-point shooting around the ball. 2023 they struggled. They got to the conference finals, but they struggled against Miami. Went down 3-0. Came back, made it a series. Almost won that game 7. Almost became the first team in basketball in NBA history to come back from a 3-0 deficit. And then last year they finally got over the hump. And again, I'm far be it for me to take away from their championship. I do believe they would have won the championship even if teams were healthy. I do believe the Knicks would have gave him a very, very, very good series last year if the Knicks had a healthy squad. But again, would have doesn't matter. Now I only say the would have to say this because I believe would have and if in basketball you used to say would have and if is hogwash. Like anything that comes after that is nonsense. But that's the only reason I say that is because the idea that Boston now was some unbeatable juggernaut was something I never bought. And as I said, you had a lot of weird Boston and fan energy where they looked down on the Knicks as, arrogantly. So Paul Pierce and all you cats, like, you got what you wanted. You got the Knicks. And now when you lost, you came up with every excuse. Well, we were up by 20. Like, bro, again, for the Casino and again, all you Knick haters, since when does going up by 20 mean anything? The score at the end of 48 minutes is a 48-minute game in the NBA. It's not college where it's 40. It's not high school where it's 32. The score at the end of 4 quarters in the first game went to overtime. Okay, I'm going to say this, and again, the Knicks won the last game of the blowout. The other 3 games that we won were battles. The 2 games that Boston won were blowouts. Boston is a front-running team. Nothing wrong with that because they that's their strength, being able to line up to 3 and blow teams out. But when the games come down to a battle, when it goes down to the muck, the Knicks, the Knicks went in there and they won 2 games in Boston. They lost the 1, right? I mean, it was a 59-59 game, and obviously some suspect officiating, and that. I mean, look, the Boston gave it all they could, but the Knicks proved our best shot is better than Boston. Okay, you can tell me Jason Tatum. Number one, this is an elimination go home game. I need to understand where Jason Tatum erases a 45 point. The Knicks got that lead up to 45 last night. Okay? Again, we finally played our best game. Well, up until then, game 4 was our best game. This time, last night, we played our best game. That's the second time in the series you saw the Knicks come out banging on all cylinders. The second half of the last game of Game 5 was second game of Game 5. Second half of Game 5, the Knicks weren't good. They were good in the first half. I mean, really, I thought the Knicks should have been up by 10 going into halftime. And then Boston, won it by 20. Well, they won by 26. Something like that, 23, 24, whatever. End of the day, the Knicks go on to the next round. So, again, I'm gonna recap the series. I'm glad I do these segments because, if you go back and look when I previewed the series, the things that I said needed to happen happened. Mitchell Robinson was a definite key to the defense. You see it, as I said, he was night and day. I said it from beginning of the playoffs. I said it from the regular season. He completely sets the Knicks defense up to where it needs to be when he's on the floor. Tibbs opened up the bench a little bit. He played. He gave a quick hook to guys like Cameron Payne. I don't think Cameron Payne got in last night's overtime. So, as I said, again, this is no knock to Cameron Payne, but there's a certain, maybe in the Indiana series he'll be needed. I'll get into that a little bit later. But Deuce McBride was the backup point guard last night. Deuce McBride came in and finally got a chance to really impact the team defensively. He got 31 solid minutes. He had that block on White. Again, this is something that White does. Chase down blocks and the good rebounds. Deuce did that. Deuce had that offensive rebound. The Knicks just showed you they were ready for battle last night. The captain did his thing. Josh Hart with a triple-double, the first Knicks triple-double since Clyde Frazier. I mean, wow, in the playoffs, I mean. Wow. It was something else, man. So, yeah, I was not shocked. Again, I expected a battle. I expected Boston to play a little better. And, for all of the Celtics, but Boston beat ourselves. Come on, bro. Come on. And that's the thing, man. The toxic NBA fandom, like, y'all were told something for so long that y'all believed it. And when it didn't happen, you got to cope for it. Y'all were told the Celtics were unbeatable. Y'all were told that the Knicks weren't on their level. And I get it. But you saw in a 6-game playoff series what the Knicks were about. And again, you want to try to make it now. So now, if the Knicks go ahead and win it all, again, we got work to do. We got Indiana. Knicks will come in with a home court advantage. Knicks will come into that series with home court advantage. So, I don't expect Indiana to be that easy, but I do expect the Knicks to win that matchup. Indiana wants to get out. Indiana's hitting on all cylinders, but if you're gonna look at that competition, you played a team with Giannis was like really the only one hitting on anything. They lost a lot of fight when Dame went down with the Achilles injury. And again, you got 2 bad Achilles injuries. You can sit there and say, "Oh, well, the Knicks won because of Jason Tatum's Achilles injury." Again, they went up 3-1. They were up. They were going to win that game. 3 minutes to go. I know you could say anything could happen. The same way, look, Boston was not a one-man team. Boston was a team of very interchangeable parts. Everybody on that team is always made to be a threat. We could say if Kristaps Porzingis again Kristaps Porzingis, this is the problem. He's always hurt. It's like Mitchell Robinson is always hurt. But again, the Knicks got Mitchell Robinson to the playoff starting line. And the Knicks got Mitch to the playoff starting line. And, again, he's not 100%. Yeah, the Knicks got Mitch to the playoff starting line, and they got what they're going to get out of him. Again, Porzingis, you want to say if he's 100%, again, they go to a guy like Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett made a very big impact in the games he was in. They get Big Al Horford. Again, later on in the summer, we'll talk about the all season and the future for the teams that lost. I do want to go through down that path. Like what's next for these teams that lost? Lakers, Boston, Milwaukee, Indiana. I'm not Indiana. Cleveland. What's next? You got to look at the cap and all that. So I want to get into that a little later. But the Knicks. The Knicks over there looking so, and there's 8 more games. 8 more games to go. Conference finals. No one, again, this was the goal. This was the goal. I mean, people are gonna have their coat. They're gonna have their, what happened, whatever. No, again, the Knicks happened. The Knicks happened. The Knicks went out there and battled and took 2 games in Boston. 2 down the stretch. And that was the key to the series. Okay? They took 2 games down the stretch. They lost game 3 in a blowout. Boston fans got happy. Boston, see, look. Said, y'all didn't, I told everybody, y'all only won 1 game. The Knicks came. Boston had another 16-point lead. Knicks battled back. Again, the Knicks are a 4th quarter team. It's a 4-quarter game. Telling me what the score was in the end of the third, in the middle of the 3rd quarter means nothing. You didn't finish the 4th quarter strong. And then the Knicks showed up in the 4th quarter. All playoffs long, the Knicks have been a 4th quarter team. I'm gonna say this with Indiana. Indiana has not had to battle in many games. Now they did get 1 game by miracle, game 2. They went out, they won by handily, game 1. They won game 1 a little bit going away. Game 2, they stole with that free throw, the foul, the intentional miss. Cleveland didn't get a defensive rebound. Again, these things can happen. So they did win a battle. I can't say they didn't win a battle. Even Boston won a battle against Orlando. But, and again, not getting arrogant. Because this is the point why I preview the Pacers series. But the Knicks have, let's go look. The best 2 players on Indiana are Turner and I know Siakam can technically count in there. Siakam is going to have to battle up against his old teammate, OG Anunoby. Right now, what OG Anunoby is on defense, the masterful job he did on Brown last night. Brown had the 20 before fouling out in the 3rd quarter, but it was a struggle. Brown was trying to get his 3-point shot off, didn't look good. It got to the point where he had a wide open 3 in the corner, and he just didn't want to take it. Brown was frustrating himself he was throwing a lot of elbows. They put it all, I'm going to give salute to the Celtics because they put it all on the line last night. But, you just saw. Look, I spent the whole year being told that the Celtics were the superior team, the Knicks were not on their level, and there's something different played out in the playoffs. If I'm gonna overlook, even in the series, even in the regular season series, we saw some things that did not happen that we're gonna see that did not happen, or we saw some things that showed the Knicks, despite getting blown out 3 of the 4 games, the Knicks they battled up to a certain time, And it was Boston again. See one thing that happens, right? Boston again, they piling on. Boston is a team they're a momentum team because they shoot so many threes. You know, to get threes, you gotta get three is a streaky thing, man. So to get those threes, you gotta be running. You gotta run. Things have to happen one to the next. You know, especially in this day and age, you're not just pulling up from three and just hitting. They got a lot of range on their shooters. You know, every single game they would either get a call, a controversial call, or they used to make a hustle play. They would out hustle the Knicks. They would out execute the Knicks, and they won, right? And again, the Knicks won't see them again for another couple of months. Well, see, the playoffs were different because the Knicks every good game every good thing that Boston throw out, we were able to adjust on the fly, either in game, and this is why the Knicks erase multiple double-digit deficits in every game except for that. So the first three wins, the Knicks erase a double-digit deficit of 15 or more. Two of them by 20. One of them by 23. Again, the Knicks had the biggest lead in the series, 45. This is after the Knicks not having a lead bigger than 16 against Detroit. So again, keep a game close. The Knicks are proven battle tested. I'm gonna look at Indiana as Boston Light. Again, Halliburton is a terrific player. You can sit there and say he's a real point guard. I don't believe so. A real point guard, you can depend on running offense, and that's one thing about Cleveland. I mean Indiana. I know they won the close game in game 2 with Indiana. I mean with Cleveland, but in Cleveland. But I don't count on them to run good offense and down the stretch of a close game. And Tyrese Halliburton is one of those. I've seen it. They're a team that need to play from ahead. They need to get a lead. They need to get that momentum just like Boston did. Now I'm gonna sit there and say if the Knicks could take Boston's best shots, and we got a lot of their best shots, how am I that concerned with Philadelphia? I mean Indiana. How am I that concerned with them? Siakam, Turner. Yeah, these guys can light it up from three. They don't have the shooting range that Boston has. Like Chris Stapps can pull up from 30-something. These are guys that get their three. And I know Halliburton. But again, Halliburton is going to see a combination of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, who both proved, and I've said this all along, they both proved what their value was. They both proved that they can stop with just about any wing in the league. I mean, look, OG's more of the beef, and Bridges is more the finesse. But Bridges came up with those long arms. He came with so many blocks. Even Luke Cornett, who was dominating us in the paint, got blocked multiple times by OG Anunoby. The shot blocking don't even come from our centers anymore. Don't even come from the Knicks centers anymore. It comes from those two guys. I believe OG is still leading the playoffs in stocks, steals plus blocks. He every night you see whether he's hitting on offense or not. He wasn't even the hot line. He was 3 for 10 from 3. But look, the Knicks got the offensive rebounds. They did everything last night. And again, salute to them. So I'm gonna my preview. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. I'm going Knicks in 5. I'm sorry. Well, thinking about the last series. And again, it's not me being arrogant. Like I'm not gonna do like Boston fans because they gave you Knicks in 5 and they give you some bullshit, generic, cooked up ESPN reason. There were a few prognosticators that gave the Knicks. And again, I appreciate that. I didn't really look at their preview. I didn't even, Kendrick Perkins and all that probably gave the Knicks, a battle. Like, you hear Stephen A. Smith saying, the Knicks would be lucky to win one game. No, I didn't believe that. But in this series, I'm going to give you the reasons why. And again, I alluded to them already. Number one, they're an offensive team. They don't play well. Their defense is night and day for the Celtics. The Knicks will be able to run what they want. I don't see them putting much pressure. Again, remember, they beat the Knicks last year, right? They beat the Knicks last year. The Knicks, who were down Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, again, defensive purposes. It's his thing. We were down Bogdanovich, again, a guy that was averaging 20 points a game while he was with Detroit. So Bogdanovich was a guy that you can go count on and get some buckets. You can go to him, and he won't get much defensively, but you will get some buckets. And he was a lot of instant offense when you work him into your system. And the Knicks were down Julius Randle from the beginning. Okay, we wound up losing Mitchell Robinson. The captain in the last game with a broken hand. So even if there was any type of comeback, I know Indiana came out in that game 7 and just blitzed us. But the Knicks now have a healthy team. The Knicks now have Karl Anthony Towns, who's gonna probably cook most of the series. I'd be surprised if he has any one of those garden variety 10 and 13 games or 10 and 8 games. If he does, it'd probably be because the Knicks won by a blowout. Again, I'm not being arrogant, but Indiana is not a team built on defense. Siakam is an undersized power forward who plays like he can go off. You're gonna have Andrew Nembhard. Again, probably that's Brunson's assignment. Maybe he goes off a little bit. They're definitely gonna try to take off the head of the snake.